is kind of a chore, but you can go in there and finagle with some of that, but it's a steep learning curve to use it, but it's a database with just map-related data, and you can go in. That is a fascinating kind of demonstration that we had, but it was well, Steve McGinty does stuff with stats. Michael Davis does a lot of stuff with business, but he was the one that said the other day, well, it's a steep learning curve for Simply Map. So you might want to take a look at Simply Map sometime and just know that it's there, that we're paying for it, and that you can get in and do all kinds of things. So they were even into categories like, this section of Northampton is such and such an income, and they had even tags for those different populations. So you could you could see the diversity. So this block is lower income and this block is upper income and so forth, and they had various tags like that. Okay, if we go back out, I realize I missed one item that Joan and I talked about just this morning. And if we go out one more, and okay.
It brought us back to reference.
Yeah, and if we just go back out some more, yeah, because we did that side skip, so you can go to, or just maybe even research. Let's see if it shows up with research. Tutorials. Some of these are a little out of date, and I don't know, do you want to look at one now, or shall we see how it goes and look at it near the end?
My thought was that this would be something we would recommend to our online learners as a place to go for where to start, choosing the right database, looking for articles, and thinking like a database, because I thought those four were really good things for new
I did look at Thinking Like a Database the other day, and it's okay, I guess, and maybe for somebody new starting. And I'm not knocking it per se. It's just that sometimes you look at something and you have your own perspective, and then.
Well, I ran through research where to start. It is a
because you can open it up and do it as closed caption too, and
it is a video. There it is, and you can either.
When it's time to start a research project, where should you start looking for information? This video from the UMass Amherst Libraries will show you how to use the library's website to find the best sources for your topic. When we need to look something up, lots of us turn to a major search engine like Google. Google is great for lots of types of information searches, but it can sometimes fall short when it comes to academic or scholarly topics.
You don't need to go.
For example, if we do a search for philosophy in Google, the first several results take us to
it's up to them.
a page for a cosmetics company called
What?
Philosophy.
You're enjoying it?
Bibliography material. This search demonstrates an important fact about major search engines. They tend to return commercial results first, not necessarily academic or scholarly ones. So, where should you start a search for an academic paper on philosophy? Instead of starting with Google or another major search engine, start your research at the UMass Amherst Libraries homepage, www.library.umass.edu. Let's look at 3 important things you can do on the library's website.
But you see, this page is outdated.
Look for articles using the research databases, and ask a librarian for help with any part of the research process. The library catalog will let you look for books, DVDs, dissertations, and more on your topic. You can do a quick search by typing in some keywords. The catalog will search the libraries of UMass as well as the other 4 colleges. You can learn much more about searching the catalog in our video, Looking for Books. Before you can look for articles, you need to choose a research database. Databases are specialized search engines that the library subscribes to. They contain
The person whose voice is speaking, she's left the university, and I don't know.
The library's research databases.
I think sometimes we get caught up
You
with
can quickly find the best databases
what you
for
think
your
you want to
topic.
promise to do and then what you can sustain. So I couldn't tell you. I'd have to ask
Strictly general and
around.
interdisciplinary link. This page contains a link to Academic Search Premier, a database that's great for any subject or topic. If you want to do more in-depth research on your topic, choose a subject from the list. For example, clicking the philosophy link brings us to a page where the top databases for finding philosophy articles are listed. You can learn much more about looking for articles in our research tips videos, Looking for Articles and Thinking Like a Database.
I'm on the information literacy team, so we will probably explore this as part of this process
Covers
too.
all of the literature on a given topic, so it's good to search more than one database when you're doing your research. If at any point you get stuck or would just like some expert guidance, you can always ask a librarian. Librarians are available in person at the reference desk until 9 o'clock most evenings. You can also call the reference desk, instant message us, send an email and get an answer within 24 hours, or set up an appointment with the library's subject specialist in your area. We hope that you'll make the UMass Amherst Library's homepage your first stop for scholarly information. Good luck with your research.
See, that might be postable for the online programs. Just like that, with that link.
The thing is, if the concepts are very clear for the beginning researcher
Mhm.
on how to start and getting in the right direction, so I felt it helped a lot of times saying don't start with Google.
One thing that I was reminded, I was looking through my notes, I've given you 2 copies of the RefWorks slim sheet, so you also have that available. Okay, let's go to the general homepage of the library, and we're just going to work through a few things to point out a couple of things to everybody. You probably know about them already. Well, just back to the library homepage, just where whatever gets you back there. Well, can you? Is there? There's not that little house. Just maybe just back up.
Well, if I back up, I'll have to go through everything
Well,
I now in library.
and then just back up. Maybe one more. Yeah. Sometimes that's all I do is I just back up.
Going back.
Yeah. Sometimes
The
it's.
hard part with the back is you have to go through everything.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just simpler than trying to. I mean, some of the doobies know how to click on something. Sometimes there's a little icon up here. You know, in the library, there's a little house icon.
Go back. Is that home? Yeah, that's home. That's home. They just don't go home.
Okay.
Don't trip on that.
All right. So is it doing it?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to databases. We're going to walk through some stuff with databases, and then if you you know what I didn't before let's just stop here for a minute, because WorldCat. We have WorldCat as the default here. We'll look in a minute at the other WorldCat.
All right. So you'd like me to choose that now?
Well, let's not go in. Let's just talk about it. When I was working with the student last night, we had some references where we were going to end up in WorldCat. And what we're finding about this WorldCat versus the other WorldCat, this has got databases, but you can run a search. So, for instance, Joan had given me some copy that had to do with dying children, etc. When I went into this WorldCat and typed in what I thought would be a clean, clear title search, I didn't get a result. I got dozens of results. And then I had to figure out ways to limit the search. And I thought, this is not what I want. I want something cleaner. We're finding that people are going into this WorldCat, and you get into a search loop. You can get a reference. It'll say, go to WorldCat. You go into WorldCat, and you loop around, and finally decide, I have to get this on interlibrary loan. And I've had this crop up with graduate students in other disciplines and so forth. So I would just say, be very chary about it. And I don't know if that's, you were the,
That's
had the
actually
World
why I
Cat.
was asking, because when I ended up in there, when I've been pulling articles
Okay.
out of Sinnal, and it
Yep.
refers me to World Cat.
Okay.
Then you just end up in this loop, and I thought I was just messing